Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabham Givardhari Gopi Jana Vallabham Givardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jashodanandana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tera Vanachari Jamuna Tera Vanachari Tera Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Dev Gurudev, Jaya Dhani.
His Divine Loving Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada,
Jai.
Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa, Pari Varijagacharya, Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki
Jai.
Bhakti Vaishnava Vrindi Ki
Jai.
Nam Acharya Thakur Haridas Ki
Jai.
Prem Siddho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nichaman Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasam Gaura Bhaktivinoda
Jai.
Sri Sri Gaura Nitai Ki
Jai.
Sri Sri Radha Sham Sundar Ki
Jai.
Lord Jagannath, Lord Baladev, Subhadra Maharani,
Jai.
Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Ki
Jai.
Nitai Gaura Premananda.
Hari Hari Bo.
Glories to the Son.
Hare Krishna.
Glories to the Son.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the Son.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Sri Guru Sri Gaura.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for all coming to participate in this beautiful discussion of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5. So I would repeat what we did last week, a meditation of Mangalacharan for 5 minutes. We have time, that's why I stopped at 5 minutes before. So we're going to, because Prabhupada says each Mangalacharan prayers is very powerful. So why not we take advantage now? So each personality comes I'm sure you all are familiar why we offer flower in the temple. Everybody can offer flower to Prabhupada. Not everybody does the full arati. You can do, but generally they don't. One person does the arati, but everybody can offer flower. Why flower? Why not incense or ghee lamp, everybody, or something? Because the flower represents, Sanatana Goswami says, our heart. The origin manifestation of flower is from the heart. Krishna's feeling for Radharani manifested a plant in the flower. That's how in Golok Vrindavan. Origin, everything in Golok Vrindavan. So that's why we offer our heart to our Guru, Prabhupada, which is wonderful. But we also have to be careful because heart produces the desire. Some desire are not offerable. And I'm sure you all will agree. So some desire, that means we have to force ourselves to create a desire to please the Lord. So that comes from the heart. So we'll offer some flower as we progress. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Yenanjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurube Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Rupnathanitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Nitanscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschat Deshotanine Vancha Kalpataruvesya Kripa Sindhubhaye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebho Vaishnavebho Namo 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 Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindaye Tulasi Devaye Priyaye Keshavasya Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Sattavate Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. Thank you. So again, thank you for participating in this beautiful discussion of Bhagavad Gita. So last week we finished 5th chapter, text 21, and we touched 22. But then I noticed just before I came, the questions that we made, that actually I have to touch a little bit 21 again for a few minutes, and then we'll begin from 22 and we'll end with 23rd. Because these three verses are very, very important to our life. So 21 goes, in case if you wonder, like where are you heading in Krishna consciousness? Where are you going? This is 21. You have to come to that platform as soon as possible. So 21, we can just recite together. It's a famous verse. Vaijas parsheshu ashaptamana bindati atmani jat sukham sa brahma yoga juktatma sukham akshayam asnute. Just to refresh, because we read that last week, that here the 4 line has a 4 most important, I would say, hidden secret revealed by Krishna. Krishna is telling to Arjuna that in the beginning of this chapter started, do you want me to participate in this ghastly war? My action is important, or you want me to take renunciation, go to forest? Krishna says neither. Then he says action with renunciation. That's very interesting. This is what actually Hare Krishna people does, or ISKCON society promote. So in this verse, Krishna is expressing very interesting that he uses, I mentioned, one word, not the same Sanskrit, but the meaning is same. He repeated twice. One is Asnute, one is Bindati. If you look at that verse, this both has the same meaning, means you will enjoy. You are looking for happiness, you will get that happiness. But there is a clue is given in this verse. So first he says, Bhajya Sparsheshu Ashukta Mana. Now, when you practice Bhakti Yoga, you're supposed to transcend the 3 modes. So when you Hare Krishna, okay, let me mute you. So when you transcend the 3 modes, that time, what will happen to you? How do you know you transcended 3 modes or not? Well, let's check these 4. Are you seeking pleasure from external? I describe this like an ice cream, and my eyes and my tongue, and they are contacting. So the ice cream is a sense object, and my eyes is the senses. So if I feel very hot, craving for ice cream, it's kind of like some kind of stimulation, then I'll say, yeah, I want to have ice cream. Everybody remembers how it works. So senses to the sense object contacting, but it is not enough. It has to go through a process, and that process is Krishna inside our heart, super soul. An example I gave, metaphor, that you want to write a letter to someone. So you write a letter, my dear best friend, I missed you, how are you, this. Well, you're typing actually some keyboard. You are expressing your feeling, but who is processing everything in the computer? So that's you consider like a super soul. And then after you finish, okay, I like it, what I express towards my friend. And then you press keyboard, print. That is Maya, material nature. She will print out. So you can see 3 entities involved and their relationship in this world. Myself, the soul, expressing my feeling, whether it is material or spiritual, doesn't matter. Still, it has to go through this. So my expression through the processing, Krishna permitting this. So I scream, then super soul in my heart is thinking, actually he has an addiction for ice cream and he wants to be advancing. This is not a good idea. Maybe then all of a sudden that if he doesn't sanction, then the intelligence will intervene and say, you'll be running late for the program. Better drive. Don't forget about ice cream. Maybe the prasadam place will have. Some way you will be diverted. But you think this is you thinking, but actually it is not you. It is the process, the super soul allow. Then how the Maya involves? Maya involves that car is going, okay, the road is clear, you're going little high, quicker speed or whatever, and you're reaching on time, something like this. So this is how the senses and sense object and I and Krishna and the material nature are involved. Everybody understand that's very simple, but it is very scientific. So in this verse it says, first line it says, yes, Mata.
Can we ask questions?
Sure. We haven't discussed
Why
much.
do you not see the ice cream and then you think, okay, I first offer it to Krishna?
That you can do if you think that Krishna will like it. That's also desire, but that doesn't mean it will happen unless super soul, same Krishna in your heart sees that you have a money. Super soul Krishna knows everything. He is the processor between Maya and us. We are not directly dealing with Maya. Just like the rice you are cooking, but the fire is helping the pot. Fire is connecting the pot. Pot is connecting with the water. Water is connecting with the rice. If you put the rice directly to the fire, what will happen? It will never become eatable. It will burn into ashes. So it's a process, same thing, the Krishna through, even though everybody is doing, they take the credit. That's why Bhagavad Gita says, we should not take our self-credit, I'm the doer. That is a mistake, because we are not really the doer. It is going through a process. Krishna, I'm only thing I'm doing actually desire. Just like you said, I want to offer it. So the Krishna will see whether you have money or actually it is offerable or not. Okay, it is offerable. Maybe the ingredient says it's okay, milk, sugar, whatever it is. Then it can happen. And if it is not allowed by him, there is no way you can make it happen. And then you will suffer. Two reasons. So next verse we'll discuss three ways how we suffer. Very practical example. But as we finish this, you'll grasp it more. Is that okay? Thank you, Mata. So first he says, Bhajya Sparsheshu Ashaktamana. First line, if you look at it. Detached from external stimuli. Don't get excited. Oh, this man likes me, or this girl likes me, or this food is good, or this house is good, I should buy it. Don't get excited. As a devotee, don't get excited. Why? Because you drawing happiness from outside. This is the most fundamental. All the Brajavasis, Madhav, Jashoda, Radharani, Krishna, where they get the happiness? Within. They are the personification of happiness. You follow? The Sachidananda body in relation to Krishna is the happiness. There, eternally. You don't have to look happiness. That's why in Vrindavan, nobody is looking for happiness. In Vaikuntha, nobody is looking for happiness. Because happiness is within. So next line it says, Bhajya Sparsheshu Ashaktamana, Bindati Atmani Jat Sukham. Where are you looking for happiness? Look for inside. So we discussed other day, let's practice every day, few minutes. Though I'm not talking about all you, because you all are senior devotee, but I'm talking those who are listening online or in the Zoom. We have a lot of devotees here too. So if you did not practice, even if you are like craving, the idea craving means I want to have it, I have to have it, something like this. Okay, just stop it for a moment. Try to find your self-happiness inside. You may say, what should I do? Close my eye, look? Yes, try to see if you can see yourself. I'm thinking, oh, that is me. Where am I? That is me, I'm thinking. So I'm aware what is going on. I am craving for this. When you try to go inside, if you practice few minutes every day, after a week or month, you will actually see, you can actually see yourself. Literally, you can identify. Prabhupada says 2.17, Bhagavad Gita, Esho anuratma cheto sabeditebha. Esho anuratma, even though soul is minute, but with purified intelligence, he can actually see. See doesn't mean physical. Seeing, like you explain me something, you say, oh, now I see. Did I see physically? No, in my thought process, in my consciousness, I could comprehend. So we also express as a seeing. Seeing not necessarily like physical object, only physical vision. So similarly, here, if we practice to go inside, and actually we will connect with Krishna. This is what meditation boils down to. Meditation means what we are focused in. And so this verse says we should go inside. So then third line, it says, Bindati Atmani Jatsukam. How are you going to get happiness inside? That question may rise. Well, it says, Bindati Atmani Jatsukam. So Brahma Yoga Jukta Atma. When we start seeking happiness within, then we can learn. We will learn what? To concentrate on Krishna. Believe me, when we chant, if we do not concentrate Krishna within us, hearing the holy name, then we are looking outside. This is so important. If our vision is outward, then we cannot focus inward. Can you understand that? Literally, you have to remember. If I cannot focus inward, we cannot focus outward. When we focus outward, we cannot think of inward. You cannot divide the focus. It is either you focus on Krishna or you focus on Krishna's Maya. You cannot focus both. But if you focus on Krishna, you can see Maya is his energy separated. You have nothing to do. Everything you can be seen. But we cannot think like looking at Maya and also I'll see Krishna. Not possible. Because Maya means what? What does Maya means? Disconnect us from Krishna. Disconnect us. Like we'll read on 23rd, that verse says, Shaknoti, very sweet verse. Shaknati iha eva ja sodham. If you learn how to tolerate what? So we'll come to that point. It's very interesting. It says that at that time, actually, you will be able to feel happiness within. It's like such a phenomenon. It's like very interesting. So if everybody keeping track, first line we read that Bhajjas Parsheshu Ashukta Mana. That Bhajjas Parsheshu Ashukta Mana. So if you are detached, senses to sense object, but if you withdraw it, then what will happen? You can go in. If you don't detach, if you don't withdraw yourself from outside, you cannot go inside. It is not possible. So negativity first, negative. I don't want outside while I chant. I want to just concentrate hearing and thinking of Krishna and just focus on Krishna. If we don't block outside, that's why Prabhupada hammered it, we are not this body. First is negative. And if you look at second chapter, Krishna only saying negative. You're not this, you're not that, you cannot be killed, you cannot be burned, you cannot be, it's all negative, what you are not. You follow? It's the same principle we have to do when we chant. First, what Hare Nam is not. Thinking something else while chanting is not. So you disconnect them. So same thing, Bhajjas Parsheshu Ashakta Mana, you withdraw fasting from outside, sense to sense object. Okay, so next is Bindati Atmani Jatsukam. Then go inside and try to connect with Krishna. That's why Prabhupada replied to Bhagavan Das. He says that, I mentioned that before, that in the temple, everybody is chanting. Is the result of their chanting will be same? Prabhupada, I noticed many times, he does not answer yes or no. he explains so nicely. He says, when somebody chants, he is connecting to the absolute. And then he writes, proportion to your conscious acceptance, the result will be produced. So what I understand from that letter, that is not same. How much I believe consciously, and I believe and act on it, that much it will act on me. And if I don't have a faith on chanting, and I'm chanting, it will not give much result. It will like a pass through. You'll get still good result, but not much. So that's why Prabhupada write conscious acceptance. And I was asking some devotee when I said, what is conscious acceptance? Conscious, I understand you are aware. Acceptance means how much you contemplate and you comprehend and accept and believe it. That is acceptance, okay? Because this itself is a stage. Acceptance is a stage. First you hear, you contemplate, you reflect, and then you accept. So concentrate on the supreme possible while we're chanting if we disconnect from outside. And then the fourth line is a Shukham Akshayam Asnude. Krishna repeat that again. He says, relish imperishable happiness. What is imperishable happiness? Just the opposite to the bodily happiness or mental happiness. Bodily happiness has a three defect. It is not, first of all, it is not attainable. Second, even if it is attainable, it is not palatable. And even if it is attainable and palatable, it is not retainable. You may say, like, give an example. I remember when I used to park my car in Thornbrook village, every day, same spot more or less, while I was running the business. And there was a car just across from it. It says, too many girls, too little time. You know, so one day I really confronted him. I said, what does that mean? I don't understand. I understand the English, but what are you trying to? You are like craving, you are like in agony, or you are in ecstasy. Why you put this? And it's a big thing. You're trying to demonstrate to the world, look at my name tag or, nameplate. He said, I'm frustrated. I never get it. I said, but you spend money for doing that. So if you look at this, what is mentality? I learned something very interesting from him, because after asking this. So first of all, okay, there are so many objects in this world you want to enjoy. But you are limited. You cannot enjoy all the lady or all the man. So you are automatically frustrated. I'm stuck with one, whatever. So this is called not attainable. That's why I say, even if it is attainable, it is not palatable. Like the example I mentioned, because this is a true story. This guy went to the party and I was there also. There's so many gulab jamuns. I really missed it. I used to love gulab jamun in my country. I said, I know, I didn't eat much, but I can imagine that. He said, I can eat 20. So, but today they have so many. And the weddings, party in San Diego. So anyway, so he asked, oh, one gulab jamun, can I have more? He said, no, we have 1,000 people and we made 1,000. He fell now. Now, so you are like already disappointed, your enjoyment, just think. So then after some time, they noticed that somehow the rumor spread that the gulab jamun didn't turn out the way it should be. By mistake, the sugar was not added properly. It was some salt by mistake was added. So I don't know, if you are addicted to gulab jamun, you will understand what I'm trying to say. You will really like disappoint. So he noticed that when he finished, he said, there's so many gulab jamun. Oh, there's so many left still. Everybody said, you can have as many. Really? It's like, wow. So he took some and he started eating. But when he took his, he forgot about to sometimes it goes so fast, you don't even realize the taste. So he started eating and then he disappointed. So even if it is attainable, it is not palatable. In life, you will see like this. I bought this house, but now so much problem. Pipe broke, this problem. It's like you're not happy. Even you bought this dream house or whatever, this also happened. So this is material happiness. Why I'm bringing, because this is a fact what Krishna is saying here. And then the third one is, even if it is palatable, it is not retainable. Your body is limited. Even sex pleasure, whatever pleasure, you still have a craving, but you're satiated for a temporary because your body is exhausted. Be very straightforward to understand these verses. Krishna says very scientifically. So even if it is, first of all, it is not attainable. Even if it is attainable, it turns into not palatable. And even if it is palatable, it is not retainable. So Krishna is so out of his compassion. He says, this verse, look, you can enjoy this forever. No disappointment in spiritual happiness. This is the sweet part. So now I also put a question that should we give up first sense gratification, then we'll get the spiritual happiness, or should we get the spiritual happiness first and then give up the material sense enjoyment? Well, neither. Why? Because Krishna says 7.1. If somebody has, you can just read the translation. It's so nice. Krishna says neither. He says, first you do hear about me. Very sweet. Maya asakta manapartha jogam junjam madashraya asangsayam samagram mam jata geshasi tatsrinu. You have it, Prabhu?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Buddha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt.
So if you want to know complete spiritual life about Krishna, your beloved, then you have to do first hearing. Not trying to give up something or adding something, first hearing. More we hear about Krishna, then more we will progress. Yes, Prabhu.
There's a lot of research that has been going on and is continued going on happiness and the nature of happiness. And in the research, in some of the studies, the one unique thing that they found, that a person who has many options, that person is less happy than the person who has a more simple approach to life, less options, either circumstantial or by choice. Of course, as devotees, we simplify life by choice, but there are other people circumstantial and not have much money. There may be so many reasons. And the researcher was pointing out, you go to a grocery store and there's like 400 different types of cereal. And people go,
really?
Yeah,
400.
he went, he counted how many different things. That was part of his research. But the long story short is that this notion of many options is a better situation to be in, is now being disproved by research.
That's nice. Thank you. So bottom line of this, that chapter, that sloka, that spiritual happiness is not in the sensation, from the sensation, it is in dedication, in absorption. Dedication here means absorption. More we force ourselves to think of Krishna, force, it will not come automatically. Until we graduate to Bhava Bhakti, then possible it will come automatically. Between Nishtha and Bhava, there is big difference. Nishtha stage means I'm chanting, but all of a sudden I noticed that 10 minutes I'm thinking of that house, and I think, well, who was thinking and who is chanting? Two different persons within. This is anartha nibriti to nishta. But then when you go to ashukti to bhava stage, that time you'll think like, wow, last half an hour, I didn't even realize. I was so absorbed on Krishna and thinking his pastime. The Krishna went to this beautiful garden, and naturally Yogamaya creates a atmosphere where Krishna forgets all-knowing potency, is there eternally with him. Omnisciency is not has a separate existence. Omnisciency within him, all the potency within him, they have no separate existence because they are him, that he is made of omnisciency also, omnipotent, omniscient. But still, Yogamaya is given power by Krishna to forget, so that he forget that he is all-knowing. So then he sees, oh my God, who is this girl with so many girls there? So beautiful. I live in this village. My father is the king. He start thinking like this, Krishna. It's like a Yogomaya's arrangement. And he really acts like he never met her. That's Srimati Radharani. And she's plucking flower. So Krishna would go there. And Krishna would say, excuse me. He just wants to converse. Vedic culture, you don't just start talking to a girl. You want to like create a atmosphere or something that stimulate your connection. He said, you girls are plucking flower, and I hope you are aware who I am. I'm the son of the king, Nanda Maharaj, and we own this flower garden. And you should have taken permission before you pluck the flower. I mean, literally, I have a power to arrest you all. I mean, literally, but I'm a religious person, I will not do that. And Radharani looked at him. Who are you? You are a son of Nanda Maharaj? Oh, is this the son that killed a lady when he was a baby? First person killed was Putana. And Krishna is like thinking, what she's talking about? He says, is this the person who steals the garment of the girls? I'm just curious. You're saying you are religious? Now, Krishna he at least got attention, he has to respond. And he enjoys this. This is what Yogamaya creates. So when you are chanting, sometime you may heard some pastime and you may be merged there, and you'll think like, wow, half an hour I had no idea where the mind went, was fully focused on Krishna, didn't go anywhere. That is called Ashakti state. A big change from Anartha Nibriti to Nishtha to Ashakti, like a huge transformation. Anartha Nibriti to Nishtha is like you trying to pull the mind back, pull mind back. My God, 10 minutes I was thinking about that neighbor was yelling to me for this. And I was chanting, but my mind was somewhere else. There is Krishna and there is me, Pran Govinda Das, and there's Krishna, and somebody is in between. You can call anartha, you can call subtle body, you can call so many things, false ego. But purification, main purpose is in the center, middle. If the middle route, our connection to this world, the soul connection to this world, how? We don't have a direct connection to this world or this body, even though I'm inside the body. We have a route. The soul is not directly connected to this world. I hope you all know that. Krishna breaks down in 2nd chapter this. So we have a route. We go, the soul, he takes the route called subtle body. It connects to the physical body and physical world. You follow? So the whole meditation, whole Krishna consciousness is nothing but purify the subtle body. Then you are done. Because Krishna is inside the heart of the soul. So I am and Krishna, what is blocking is the middle, the route, this subtle body. If the mind, intelligent, ego, they are purified, done. You are seeing Krishna face to face. You are in spiritual world. You don't have to die to experience that. You can experience right here. So what does that mean? That's a different level of reality. Physical, that's why that Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila chapter 5, text 18, Sarvaga Ananta Vibhu Krishna Tanu Sama. Upari Adha Bepi Ache, Upari Adha Bepi Ache, Ananta Vibhu. Upari Adha Bepi Ache, yes. That Golok Vrindavan is actually everywhere. But if we don't come to that reality, we'll just dying, leaving this world, this body doesn't mean we are in spiritual world. We have to come to that pure goodness, then we will see Golok Vrindavan is here. Whether we have this physical body or subtle body or our self is the spiritual body, there won't be any difference. If you look at, I think 5:18, you have it? 10 cents. Yeah, sure. Adi Lila chapter 5, I think is 18. It's very nice. I mean, the whole chapter is one of the biggest chapter, probably the biggest purport. One verse Prabhupada gave 17 pages. I love that purport, but it takes long focus. 17 pages.
So 5:18.
Yes, Prabhu. It is Sarvaga.
Sarvaga Ananta
To Vibhu Krishna Yada Bepi Ache. Nahika Anand.
Like the transcendental body of Lord Krishna, Gokula is all pervading, infinite and supreme. It expands both above and below without any restriction.
Where is Golok Vrindavan? Everywhere. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur write that song. Je dina grihe bhajana dekhi grihete golak bhaya charana sidhu dekhiya ganga sukhana sima payo. It's not imagination, Bhaktivinoda Thakur write. It is real. You can be in Golok Vrindavan. Prabhupada said 3.2.6. He says you can be physically here and serve in spiritual world. The best example, when Prabhupada said he was ringing bell and singing, then all of a sudden he felt a little chest pain. And then he opened his eyes and he noticed that he is lying down in the hospital in New York. That he reveals to Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. And the Indraduna Maharaj was narrating this. Indraduna Maharaj says, that's far out. So was Prabhupada in New York hospital or he was in spiritual world? You figure it out. Both. For a sadhaka form, he has to do relevant to us. So he has to relate. But he is also in the spiritual atmosphere always. So this is the good fortune we have that we are following. He actually at least proved many times that he's in spiritual world at the same time in the material world. Okay, yes, Prabhu.
Naragoni uses a wonderful metaphor. He says that for one who's wearing shoes, that he does not suffer even if he's walking on thorns and stones. So for one who's self-satisfied, he does not experience any misery. In fact, he is self-satisfied. He is wherever he goes, wherever he travels.
That's true. That's true. Thank you, Prabhu. So we are going to read the 22, text 22. Mother Neha, Mother Rohini, would you like to read?
Prabhu, thank you so much, but unfortunately, I'm not with the Gita right now. I'm just listening.
That's fine. Anybody else? Mother Lalit Madhav from Miami. If you have, you can read, or Mother Neha, or we'll just read here. Chapter 5, text 22. Okay. Okay, go ahead, Mata. Or the sloka we can do together. Jahi samsparsha ja bhoga dukkha jonaya evate adantavanta kunteya nate suramate buddha. Now, previous verse I said for who? for us in a liberated stage. And this verse is for problem for material enjoyment. This is a very nice verse. These verses are like, you want to like memorize like a candy all day. Okay.
An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with material senses. Or son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Material sense pleasures are due to the contact with the material senses, which are all temporary because the body itself is temporary. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary. Knowing well the joys of transcendental pleasures, how can a liberated soul agree to enjoy false pleasures? In the Padma Purana, it is said,
Ramante Joginamanante Sattananda Chidatmani Iti Rama Padasen So Param Brahmadi.
Translation. The mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the absolute truth, and therefore the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is also known as Brahma. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, also 5.51, it is said,
Nayam deha deha vajani loke kastan kaman arhate vidpujamje topo dibbam putrakajena sattam suddheta jasmat brahma sukham tu anantam.
Translation. My dear sons, there is no reason to
Hare Krishna, welcome.
very hard for sense pleasure while in this human form of life. Such pleasures are available to the stool eaters. Rather, you should undergo penances in this life by which your existence will be purified, and as a result, you will be able to enjoy unlimited transcendental bliss. Therefore, those who are true yogis or learned transcendentalists are not attracted by sense pleasures, which are the cause of continuous material existence. The more one is addicted to material pleasures, the more he is entrapped by material miseries.
Okay, this is a beautiful verse after the first one. This talks about sense enjoyment here. Krishna is so merciful. He said, why you should give up the sense enjoyment and rush towards spiritual enjoyment. Why? So he's giving a good reason. He says, Jahi Shangsparsha Jabhoga Dukkha Jonaya. Adyanta Banta Kuntaya. This pleasure, as I was discussing, it has a three problem. Beginning problem, middle problem, end problem. Any enjoyment you want in the material world, generally, we want to say, okay, if somebody is doing some sense enjoyment heavily, we don't see them suffering. Krishna did not say you will see them suffering. If you look at the verse, Jahi Samsparsha Ja Bhoga Dukkha Jono. Jono means womb. Womb. When a Mataji get pregnant, the delivery will take place. But will it take place tomorrow? No. It takes time. Whatever, 9 months, we discussed that. So when somebody get pregnancy, doesn't mean the baby will come out tomorrow. Baby will come out after 9 months. Everybody understand that concept? So the way Krishna say, if you look at this verse, he's very scientifically, of course, he's the most thoughtful person. He's the supreme God. But the way he says, Dukkha Junaya means you, as soon they do sense enjoyment without offering to him, they already got impregnated. So this life, you may see for 10 years, nothing happened. All of a sudden, that person has a cancer. Well, the cancer did not just show up. Cancer is the delivery of the pregnancy that person had before. So every sense enjoyment without offering to God produce misery, period. But you will not see the baby immediately after pregnancy. You have to wait for 9 months, something like that. So Krishna used that word, Junaya. If you look at the Junaya means womb. That everybody do sense enjoyment, their reaction, suffering is growing. When time comes, end of this life or next life, it will pop. Just like Michael, a Methodist church minister in UF, he asked me, well, in Bible, it does not answer. What is your spiritual discussion talks about this, that 6-month-old child, my best friend child, she got a leukemia and she's dying. The parents are devastated. I said, how do you answer from Bible? If there is no, this is the only life. If you believe this is the only life, how? This person, to accept Jesus, you have to be consciously aware that who you are, who Jesus is. 6-month-old child, how are you going to teach 6-month-old child to accept Jesus? You can't. They don't speak English or whatever language. So, but now it's dying. How do you answer it? He said, you have to understand the reincarnation. You have to understand how this material nature conducting her wonderful activity. And this is what Krishna says, that last life, this child, don't think of a child, think of a soul. This child has caused, or maybe this parents has caused some suffering to the child, that this child is born as a child and causing the suffering to the parents and live. And the parents' whole life, they will be like, oh, child born, but never lived, didn't even say Haribol or anything, and because could not talk, 6 months old. So everything is scientifically calculated. Nothing is accidental. But if you accept this is the only life, 6 months old child dying, you cannot answer. But this verse is explaining dukkha janaya ebote. The person already incurred the sin will fructify this life, so that the parents has to go through some suffering. Just like, I don't know, anybody lived here too long. When I moved here, 2003, there was a one boy named Mr. Livingstone. He killed 7 girls in UF. And anybody remembers here? If you are a long time here. And I just moved here, like a 6 months. Like, wow, what kind of person is that? And not only kill those girls, keep the head in the refrigerator. You remember there was some psycho in UF here. No, in Gainesville.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And then we had some discussion how to understand this. This boy is doing this, and he has to go through so much suffering. But they said, but he's not suffering. He kept on doing one by one. He has an affair with those girls, intimacy, and then chop their head and put in the freeze. And some or other, nobody knows how he, buried the body. I don't know. I don't remember whole detail, but I was traumatized. I was like, wow, this is like a big demon type of nature. So when you read, you understand this sloka, it makes sense that how material nature, that he created this, now he has to take birth. Next life, if you see his birth, you will be like devastated. Oh my God, this guy is going through so much suffering. Yeah, he caused so many suffering of the parents of those 7 girls, or whoever, relative, anybody he caused suffering. He has to take back in order to come back on his own original consciousness. This is harmful. I should not do it. I really regret. He has to come to that stage in order to come out of it. Or he will put into a place where he will be in severe pain in order to regret. That's happened to be called hell. So hell is not a bad place. Hell is for 2 purposes, and both are good purpose. I think, no, deeply, why Krishna created hell, good reason. There's a good reason. In order to transform their dirty consciousness to purify consciousness, they have to go through a severe experiencing pain. I'm not saying this is good, but I choose to hurt somebody, I have to regret that this was bad of hurting someone. And if I don't come on my own, nature will create in my life that I will go through this, where you may say, why Pran Govinda Das is going through this? But you didn't see what I did harm to others. So everything is calculated. Nothing is accidental. This verse is very wonderful. The Krishna said, Dukkha Jana, that everybody is going through because it's the result of previous life. So that's a, Krishna says, so therefore don't go for material sense enjoyment. Try to offer everything to me, then it is spiritualized and you'll get out peacefully, nothing, no reaction, bad reaction to anybody. Rather, if you distribute that prasadam, everybody will be benefited. So this is a very nice. Here, Krishna says, Brahma Sukham to Anantam. I'm just, okay. Now, in this verse, also Krishna, I made a one point. If it seems like explanation is good, Krishna says sense gratification, give up sense gratification means adapt me as the enjoyer, then you can eat prasadam, there is no suffering. Sounds everything is good. But what is the problem? Problem is we have a two body. The soul has a two body here. Soul itself has a body. Spiritual body is the soul. But it has a subtle body. What causes problem? The mind. So how mind causes problem? Physical body does cause problem? No. But we experience through the physical body. So mind causes how problem? Because mind does not have a limit. Mind can fantasize about romantic life. I'll go to an island and I'll have a 20 times sex, whatever, I'll see the beautiful scenery, pizza every day, or maybe pizza is not a good idea. Like romanticize, it will be such a wonderful. Mind can go on, and guess what? It never exhausts. That's the problem with the mind also. It doesn't exhaust, it can go on. But physical body, you know that. After 20 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes sex, your body is exhausted. I'm telling straightforward language. I'm sorry, don't take it wrong way. But this is true. Your body is exhausted, but your mind fantasize still. Well, it will be nice more. Body say, no, I'm finished. So you see, mind write a big, big check, post-dated check. Go, cash $5 million. And you go to the bank, said he doesn't have a bank account. Doesn't have a bank account. Why did he give 5 million? I was so excited for a week. But so mind issues checks. I'm just giving a metaphor. Mind issues checks, so many, we fantasize. But in reality, why mind fantasize? You know why? It doesn't have a connection to the reality. It's created for that purpose. So next time mind gives you a check, what you should do? Tell me. You don't trust it. Keep it. That is called devotee. Devotee understand that, and they say, no, mind can fantasize. I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not going to fall for it. Why? Because this will be disappointment. And you will be like exhausted, like, never get satisfied. So everybody remember three things: defects, beginning, you have a anticipation. Whether Jane Austen, Ridhananda Maharaj says, Jane Austen wrote a book about falling in love or something like that. I forgot. But she never writes after married what happened. So Ridhananda Maharaj, he said, I want to know why didn't she write any book after marriage? She's very popular, #1 New York, #1 sale or something, that falling in love. But after marriage, what happened? She never writes. So they interviewed her. He said, oh, that's the part I don't like. I said, but you're giving an illusion to the people. Already illusion, falling in love with the body, but then double illusion. So in Maharaj's explanation was very interesting. He says, anticipation is such a biggest enjoyment in the bodily connection. It is not the reality of happiness, sex or whatever. It is the anticipation that you will be happy. It will be wonderful, like a heaven, whatever, fantasy. So this is what it is. And this is the bottom line. Krishna says this previous verse and this verse, that beginning you will have a what? Yes. And then you will have a disappointment because it will never come true. The fascination. Then at the end of what happened? Lamentation. So that's why I'm going to rephrase this. The sense enjoyment unlimitedly looks like there because mind creates this imagination, but in reality it is not attainable. What was the next one? If it is attainable, it is not palatable. It becomes, oh, I knew he was good before, but now he became a little different. I won't say because then we'll have a fight. But this idea coming, so where is this coming? Where it was fantasy before, it became different because it is not palatable. And even if it is palatable, it is not retainable. And this is the material. That's why I like the way Krishna says that don't look for it. So we are going to discuss on, oh, we have like 8 minutes. Let's discuss on this little bit. Why not? So here, Srila Prabhupada takes the word, Mataji just read that verse. Ramante Jogina Manante Sattananda Chidatmani Iti Rama Pade Naso Param Brahma Avidiyate. The mystic derive unlimited transcendental pleasure from the absolute truth. And therefore, the supreme absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead is also known as Ram. So here, Ramante Jogina Manante Anantarama. Anantarama, they enjoy unlimitedly. In what? Sattanande Chidatmani. Sattanande, they experience real happiness. Chidatmani, they experience spiritual happiness. Where? Within. Very good. Thank you. They enjoy the happiness, spiritual happiness within. This is, we should focus. I'm going to hammer it. Every day you hammer to your own mind. Let's meditate on Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Make sure you are hearing. Because if you actually focus on hearing, your mind is captured there. If you're not focused on hearing, your mind will take you somewhere else. That car accident happened. Hare Krishna, car accident happened. His whole scenery is going. Mouth is chanting, but mind is gone. Car accident. So purification is not done. There will be material benefit. When purification of the subtle body is not done, you will get dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Everybody knows that, right? You know, kama means, what is kama means? Materially happy. Kama doesn't mean sex only. Kama means, I have a car, I have a nice house, I have a, nice facility, I have a nice job. I'm happy. This is called kama. This thing is bewildering because this will trap us here. We don't want either one. The whole world is after this. Every religion. I'll go to heaven, so I go to church. Why? So I'll go to heaven and not go to hell. Okay. But what about serving God? Well, that's not the priority. It's not emphasized. You follow? That's not the real purpose. They go to church. Because I personally interviewed. They say, why you go to church? I don't want to go to hell. I'm going to go to heaven. Okay, that's it. So they are follower and they will go, but it is not actually devotional service fully. It is a stepping stool to go to devotional. It's good to at least follow instruction. So here, very nice, spiritual happiness in the Atma. Mitta Ananda is what they are in this world. Iti Rama Padaneshu, that absolute truth that is given the name Ram, Param Brahma Avidiyate. Avidiyate means it is known as. So that absolute truth which enable one to experience greater happiness, that is called Ram. Very nice. The word Rama, Ramate, Ramate iti. So that another explanation for yogis. Now everyone cannot do delighting within. Everybody cannot do this. So materialistic people will say, what story you are talking about? What is the big deal about it? But they want some other stories. They want, what they want? Mickey Mouse, Harry Potter, all this. So they will having all kinds of fantasy novels instead of reading Bhagavad Gita. So here Krishna and Prabhupada give a beautiful purport. He says, Ramate Buddha, not Eshu Ramate Buddha. Those who are intelligent, they will not delight the happiness between the senses and sense object. They will delight the happiness. You will maintain your body. Body has a 4 function: eating, sleeping, mating, defending. You will maintain your body, but you will not delight happiness from that source. Everybody understand that? You need to give rest. Whatever body needs, you give. But obsession on those bodily needs is sinful. It is what Krishna is against. Everybody understand that's very simple way. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, body needs, you supply, but don't be obsessed on it. If you are obsessed, it will take you away from Krishna consciousness. Just like why death, physical body dying is bad. Because it separates the soul with the subtle body. You cannot practice practically. You can fantasize, but you cannot practically execute without or get perfected without the physical body. So physical body, like a poison. If somebody takes poison, why poison is bad? Because poison separates the physical body from the subtle body, where soul is there. Sense gratification does the same thing. It separates super soul to the soul. More sense gratification, more the soul is actually away from super soul, opposite direction. But that doesn't mean bodily need you don't provide. Krishna did not say bodily need you don't provide. You provide bodily need, but don't be obsessed on it, because if you obsessed on it, you will actually separate yourself or go far away from Krishna. That's why it says, Nateshu Ramate Buddha. Buddha means intelligent. Those who have intelligence, Ramate means delight. They do not delight in this. So wise people will not enjoy it. That wise people, do they enjoy relationship with Supreme Lord? Yes. This is what Prabhupada is performing. But sometimes, if you don't practice, I'm being honest to you, because I did not practice. I was chanting for 4 decades, over 4 decades. But if I'm not focusing on Krishna, actually meditating, absorption, because spiritual happiness coming from absorption. It's required dedication, absorption, inner connection. Just uttering the name will help eventually, but will not do it unless we are absorbed in Krishna. That's why Prabhupada said here means you separate the soul from the mind. At that time, mind will be captured. That time your purification is very quick. More we hear. It's very nice, very scientifically the way Prabhupada explained. So there Prabhupada quotes famous word of Srimad Bhagavatam, the my dear son, this is Rishabh Dev speaking to his 100 sons, that this human life is, main purpose of human life is for purification. Human life is not for sense gratification. And you may say, why? Suddheta jasmat, Brahma Sukha to Anantam. Deep down, if you ask yourself, Prabhus and mothers, deep down if in your heart, if you really ask, what do I want? What is best for me? Not what your husband or wife wants, what your mom wants you to have. Not like this, like really what you need. Deep down, if you really go at the soul level, you will say you want unlimited, uninterrupted happiness. Because that is what originally we have, and we still, eternally, we are potential for that. That's why Krishna brought this, and Prabhupada wonderfully gave this in this purport. He said, Suddheto jasmat Brahma Sukha tu Anantam. Try to purify this human life with Krishna consciousness. Then connect. Purification means inner connection. Purification doesn't mean just following the rituals. The spirit behind the rituals has to be there. Because spiritual means like that inner connection. Then you will have a conviction. Conviction will never come without inner connection. And conviction keeps our determination very fixed, very nice. That time we are literally liberated. You can be in this body, but you are liberated. You are in Brahmabhuta platform. That time, the previous verse will make sense to us. So here it says, Nayam Deha, within this body, Deha Bhajan Niloke, means one should not enjoy Niloke, especially in the human body. That pleasure which born with the Deha, body, Kastan Kaman Arhate, Kastan Kaman Arhate. One should not do kasta to fulfill Kama. One does not have to enormous hard work to be satisfied materially. This is a foolish idea to work so hard in this world. We should do hard work for Krishna. That will purify us. People do hard work. Whole world people, majority people work very hard. But if they can do in Krishna consciousness, their purification will be done instantly. This is so nice. And our consciousness will become purified, as Prabhupada said. Here, the Brahma Sukam to Anantam can be correlated with the previous verse. I'm just combining these two. That unlimited happiness, there is saying imperishable happiness. Same point. So how does it work? Why do we need to do austerity? That question may come. Because in the transitional stage, I have experience of material happiness. I have some ideas, some experience, maybe once in a, maybe I don't remember, rare I felt I can be happy. Yeah, I like that, Krishna consciousness. So I'm in the middle now. So this transitional stage, you are in between material enjoyment, material experience, material remembrance of all the happiness you went through, and you have a little taste. When we are weaning ourselves away from material pleasure, we are trying to gain spiritual pleasure. At that time, there is a struggle. You know, struggle? Anybody ever heard that word, struggling? Struggle. But if we go through the struggle, if we weather the storm, then what happens is we move further and we really experience spiritual happiness. I hope you remember this. This is so important. Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur explained this so nice. So Shukam Akshayam Asnute, it like disease condition. A disease condition a person cannot enjoy. So the period of treatment is period of austerity. Can you remember? Austerity means treatment. I'm sick, I'm taking medicine. Nothing tastes good. They say with COVID, nothing tastes good or something. Similarly, so once you are healthy, that's why Prabhupada writes, that time you will experience spiritual happiness. But you have to let it go. You will not be happy, but you are in the treatment period and go through. And if you can just transcend that, you will be the happiest person in the whole world. This is what Brahmavata platform. Okay, I think we are on 7:30 exactly. We'll stop here. If there is any reflection or anything we want to add. Yes, Prabhu.
It's interesting to note that there's a difference in the use of the word in Sanskrit when it's referred to happiness as opposed to spiritual happiness. Bhaktivinoda Thakur points out there's happiness, material happiness. Happiness comes from Brahman realization, happiness in the spiritual world, and one's relationship with the Supreme. But the words happiness in the material world is sukham. And the opposite word of sukha is dukkha. So happiness, distress. And I have a note here I thought was very interesting. I can't remember where I heard this, but happiness is a state, not a trait. In other words, it isn't a long-lasting permanent feature, I guess it's talking about material ethics, or personality trait, but a more fleeting, changeable state. Happiness is equated with feeling pleasure or contentment, meaning that happiness is not to be confused with joy, ecstasy, bliss, or other more intense feelings. Happiness can be either feeling or showing, meaning that happiness is not necessarily an internal or external experience, but can be both.
That's good. Wherever you got it from.
So like,
Yes, Trivikram Prabhu.
The soul experiences unlimited happiness in the spiritual world. But what prompted the soul to material to come to this? I mean, all the souls have the same desire to come, or
Yes.
what prompted the soul?
You know, if you go to prison, you see so many inmates. Now, they have one thing common amongst all. They all committed crime. Make sense? So, similar way. We all had we all, whoever is in this material world, conditioned soul, I'm not talking about liberated soul, those who are sent by Krishna for delivering life. We all misuse our free will.
I mean, any part of the scripture says, like what type of misuse or so? I mean, what is it?
This itself, we
Yes, coming.
This itself, we discuss like few days. I have those record, you can hear it. It's, because this question never ends. Well, if Krishna knew we'll misuse the free will, why did he give us free will? They asked Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, you don't value the free will? Then he gave that example. If a man point a gun at the girl's forehead, say, you love me or I'll kill you. Can somebody say, what's the problem in that? Is there a problem?
that's not love. It's not love.
Well, he said, you love me or I'll kill you.
Love me or I'll kill you.
Yeah,
That's
little
not-
more.
That's not love.
No, little more.
That's force. It's
Love has to have a free choice. Yes, love has to have a free choice. So Prabhupada gave that example in the morning walk. So they went back and forth. But an end conclusion was nice. That I think it was Ramesh Prabhu. He says, so Krishna is directing every soul in conditional life from higher planet, lower planet, higher birth, lower birth, whatever the, This is 1860, that verse. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Riddesho, 1861, next verse. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Riddesho Jyotishtati Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani Jantrarani Maya. You put in a machine called Jantro, called body, and you direct them. Why he does not direct all the soul towards him? Then Prabhupada answered that Krishna is directing all the soul according to their desire, not according to his desire. I like those devotees in a morning walk sometime. And then Rameshwar Prabhu says, so we have to develop a desire to serve him and come back to him. Prabhupada said, yes. Then service is done, job is done. So we have to have a strong desire to go back home and serve Krishna. Then Krishna will guide us to come back to him. That's a shorter version of your wish. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu. What is your name, Prabhu?
Ryan.
Padharayana. Wow.
Thank you so much for your.
That's Shukdev Goswami's name.
Actually, yes.
Vyasdev's name. Yes, Padharayana.
So, just going back in your talking about reincarnation, and the young 6-year-old girl that had leukemia. Sometimes it comes up the question of the great atrocities, just for instance, the Holocaust, in World War II. And sometimes I find that I've seen in some devotees a difficulty in understanding the kind of non-sentimental aspect of karma. In other words, that karma is not, it's a law of nature. It's not sentimental. It's like you put your finger in the fire, it's going to burn. And yet I see that sometimes devotees have a hard time wrapping their heads around how atrocities could be perpetrated upon a whole race of people. In this case, the Jews, and there were many other people that suffered in that regard during the Nazi regime. But perhaps you could comment on that. My understanding is that anyone who's experiencing suffering in this material world is, as you said, there was some aspect in the previous lifetime. And you also made the nice analogy of pregnancy, that it takes some time, just like we're seeing in this world massive amount of sinful activities that are being committed in Kali Yuga, from abortions to animal slaughters to the list goes on and on and on. And at a certain point in time, there's a kind of bubble will burst, the karmic backlog will take its toll, so to speak. So, but perhaps you could comment on that.
Well, that's a very nice subject. In a sense, itself is a long discussion required. But what I understand, I can just quote some, that for an example, this happened. There's one elderly lady, while she's coming down from the steps, she fell. So this person immediately ran, as a devotee, ran and grabbed her to help her and gave her some good word. Oh, I'm so sorry, are you okay? So then we had a discussion. Later on, he mentioned this story. So I asked him also, like, what is your understanding? So two way we can take almost anything happening in our life. We have to have a complete philosophical understanding that that person must have done something somewhere, otherwise it would not possible he would just fell, even though whether the person is old or not. Everything has a predestiny, but it's not visible, so nobody can see it until it happens, time manifests. But at the same time, we have to have a compassion that this is not good, because the soul don't deserve this, but some or other ignorance, due to ignorance we commit, we say so many things, bad thing, or have a bad feeling about someone. It's not good, but we are also helpless in one sense. So two ways to look at it, that I have to have a complete understanding, at the same time we should go and help, not telling them at that time, but to create a bond that maybe if they are they come to a level to understand also, then they can actually rectify. And it's very interesting. In a morning walk, Prabhupada says, my head's supposed to be severed, but Krishna is so kind, he gave a little cut. He had a finger little cut. And then he quote this verse from Brahma Samhita. Justindra Gopa Mathavendra Mahosa Karma. He talks about the karma. Justindra Mathavendra Mahosa Karma Bandhana Rupam Phalabhajana Matanoti Karmani Nidhati Kintucha Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The Krishna is very kind, that for a devotee, because they are trying to come back to him and serve, Krishna minimize their karma but still they have to go through some, in order for two reasons. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, one reason, even advanced devotee, pure devotee, they may go through some suffering, old age and this, that. So that because their existence is like a happiness, they are directly connected with the spiritual world, their absorption with Krishna, but they may think like, this world is not bad. What is problem of So to not have them that feeling, this nothing, no problem, this world, some or other, some pain or some suffering may be visible. So that they say, no, I just want to go back to Krishna. So they go back. Not that they need it, but just to keep them until the last breath. And that's one reason. And another reason, Krishna also says that he does not want to force anybody invested emotionally, because we invest two ways, negatively or positively. Like if I invest in the stock market, I glorify, oh, Microsoft is so good, Qualcomm is so good, because I did a mistake. And after a little while, I lost 90% of money. And I started investing negatively way, not aware that I'm investing. Means I talk bad about it. Talking bad about anybody or anything is also emotional investment. I have to experience this. So positively glorifying something because I got profit out of it or I lost, either way, we have to be neutral. We cannot be emotionally investing. And if we do, generally we do, not if we do, then Krishna will not remove everything until we ask help. Krishna will say, okay, this much pain you have, 90%, I'll make it into 9%. That's a big chunk out. But still I'll go through this. And during I go through this, oh, Krishna, I'm going through so much. Why is like this? No, don't ask that question, why? I deserve it. Until I come to that point, I am retaining resentment against the sanctioner. That is Krishna. And Krishna will not like that. I have to literally accept that everything happening in my life as a token, just like Prabhupada said, his head supposed to be severe. He said, just got a little cut. And he quoted this verse. So I was, scrutinizing that verse, a couple of days, many years back, I remember. It was very satisfying. Krishna says, until the devotee take the responsibility that everything happening, I deserve it. But Krishna is minimizing. Because that's the fact. It's not like just to, say, okay, Krishna, there is no fault in you. No, actually, Krishna has no fault, 100%. But it is required for me to see it in mature stage. Otherwise, I will go through some suffering. So in mature stage, when I confess this, yes, I don't have any resentment. I deserve it. You just minimize. Thank you. I'm grateful. Voluntarily, at that time, I pray, Krishna, I am getting disturbed. I cannot chant. I cannot do my service. Is it possible you can give me little healthy body so I can perform more devotional service, so I can do this? Then Krishna will take it away. But he wants us to come to him, that we don't want this, because it is our investment. In Dhruva Maharaj's case, you remember? He says at the end when he saw Narayana, why did I look for bigger kingdom than my grandfather? I was looking for broken glass. I found diamond. So he considered what was the highest point in his life as a broken glass. Broken glass, the conception means nobody cares for broken glass. At least I never saw anybody collecting broken glasses. And I never saw that. So that's why he considered Narayan or seeing the Lord face to face like a diamond. But Krishna did not deceive him. Krishna said, you desperately wanted. That was the original motivation. You came to me. You have to go through enjoying that material enjoyment. So Krishna will never deprive us. Question is our intensity. How intense we want something, Krishna will fulfill. But when we get it, and we'll also get Krishna consciousness taste, and we will say, why did I ask for this? This is horrible. I don't want to enjoy this. It's we wasting. But Krishna wants you to, each of us to come on our own and say, my Lord, I did a mistake asking this material happiness. Please protect me. Please let it go. I don't want. Then Krishna will help you to let it go, but You have to still go through some experience because you are desperately wanted. So whether it's a bad or good, everybody, nothing is revealed to them unless they wanted some life to experience this. Same conception Dhritarashtra asked to his guru, Vyasdev, your name, Badarayani, that Gurudev, why am I suffering so much? At least one son could have left. 100 sons died. This is horrible. This is not a good, you know who is talking? Vyasdev, but after that, Vyasdev mercy, he asked the same question to Krishna face to face. Why you didn't save one? Krishna says, I'm neutral. I do not do either one. Whatever you deserve, you get. Whatever you don't deserve, you don't get. I have nothing to do with it. Did they accept that? He said, no, you are God. You allowed all my sons died. This is not good. Now, if we tell God that he is not doing his good job, I don't think we should define what the God job description is. That's a resentment. He had a resentment so much. Even Prabhupada writes in the purport that Vidura, being a guru, was not happy with Dhritarashtra because he could have become a pure devotee if he just accepted the bhakti. He met Krishna, he discussed with Krishna, he has a pure guru, but he didn't accept. So what was the problem? Problem was he was maintaining resentment. You know, resentment, we sometimes like, why this is happening in my life? Who are you blaming? The person who allows this to happen, that's Krishna. We are actually maintaining resentment against God, Krishna. And we're trying to go to him. What kind of it's very difficult. You see, Mother Gandhari, we discussed other day, Mother Gandhari was so straightforward. She's like imbibed her husband's mood. Said, you are God, I know you are God. Talking to Krishna face to face. You could have gave me one child at least left. So many discussions. Krishna says, how many times I have come to you? How many times I have come to your sons to change their own consciousness, to change their thinking. Now, Krishna can do everything, but he never does. He never intervenes in our free will. We must remember this. He will never intervene in our free will. He wants us to come on our own. No force, no impose.
He couldn't do any more. I mean, he even revealed his universal form.
Yes.
In the courtyard.
Yes.
He gave them so many opportunities and they just resisted.
It's very powerful. Free will we have is the most powerful. And if we don't want to be Krishna conscious, Krishna will never make us Krishna conscious. He will make us facility. You know, I was just reading other day, it was very interesting that 7.10. 7.10. I think is also 18. 7. It says that Nishingadev told to Prahlad Maharaj, because you are devotee, 21 generation, we say they get liberation. No, it did not say liberation. Because I was thinking like, wow, if one person gets pure bhakti, then, you know, so many generations will be automatically. No, it's not automatic. Oh, you have it?
I have it.
Can you read?
It's 7, 10, 18.
Okay.
Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Prahlad, O most pure, O great saintly person, your father has been purified along with 21 forefathers in your family. Because you were born in this family, the entire dynasty has been purified.
But if you look at the word, it did not say mukti, it says puta. Puta means purification. Means they will be given purification. They will given a chance to purify. Krishna will never bring soul that did not develop desire to come to him. You understand my point? He wants us to come just like a lover and beloved. has to have a conscious awareness. I want to love this person because this person is nice. Substance, not only the form, then it will be disappointment. Because in this world, generally, first symptom of love is that they like the body of the other person, is a form. But we should look for the substance, not form. Form will disappoint us. Substance, like a character, quality, attitude, these are the real who that self is, that person is very important. So Krishna wants substance. Krishna doesn't want like our practice only, what we do. Krishna wants us how actually eagerly we want to come. They are like that. Is that gives some idea?
Yeah, I think one of the kind of contested point is when someone, whether it's a race or group of people or an individual, is experiencing the extreme effects of negative karma, we have the philosophical understanding that there is something from the previous lifetime, but there's the compassion.
Yes.
It's not like we're going, oh, you did this, you're on your own. We have compassion. It's interesting because we have a son and he experienced very, very extreme negative karma. Now he's realized that
yes,
that it's like you were saying, the purpose of hell is to the rectification. And now he's it's like, I just do not want to do anything that's going to create karma for myself, negative karma, because I have suffered so much as a result of my previous karma. And he's having a realization. It was interesting. We went to I don't know if you're familiar with the Nadi readers, similar to having your Briga reading done, the Nadi readers from Nadi Shastras. Lord Shiva, Parvati asking Lord Shiva about the sufferings of souls in Kali Yuga, and Lord Shiva spoke about each soul, and it was written by the sage Kaushika Rishi. So and again, I don't place full stock in these, but we had my son and I had Nadi readings done many years ago in India, and without going into detail how that came about and why I felt it was valid, because obviously there are many charlatans. But one thing I saw from that, there were each person's life is written on palm leaf. And again, without going into details how I was determined it was my life or this life. What we saw from that was that clearly from actions performed in the previous life that caused suffering to another living being, to that degree of suffering in this life. It was very clear. Because suffering to this person, to this group, now you're suffering. So everything, the karma that we're experiencing is 100% related to the degree of suffering caused to another living being.
yes.
But then like you said, that it's like taking there's a concept in the book called extreme ownership. So that's like, okay, yes, everything is a result of whatever happens in life. I have to have extreme ownership. I caused it. It's not. Can't blame anybody else. I can't blame my parents. I can't blame the government. It's me. So that's the principle that you're speaking about here. And then when we have that, then the rectification.
Very good. Very good. That's exactly what happened to Bhishmadev. We'll end with this. Bhishmadev, he was on the opposite party, against Krishna, against Pandavas, you can say. At least that's how it shows in the war. But one thing he never had a resentment against Krishna. 3 things he maintained. He always saw Krishna as the cure of all his problems, even though he's on the other opposite side. He never maintained resentment against Krishna. Because he did this, even though he's opposite side, Krishna came at his last moment and he expressed this. And Krishna reciprocated. So this is a glorious thing, but nobody talks about Duryodhana. He was also on that side, but he had always resentment. It's very interesting how Prabhupada says in 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, one of the purport that even in the war, the Sudarshan Chakra dissolved their subtle body. Your parents gave you this body, but the subtle body you got from who? Lord Shiva and Parvati. The false ego, mind, the subtle body comes from their parents. But this too has to be dissolved. Sudarshan Chakra has a beauty, it dissolves the subtle body, not only physical body. Physical body, it will drop anyway. When subtle body dissolved, then what happened? It's you. Only the soul left. So according to purport, Prabhupada, right, so nice, he said that Shishupal, person like Shishupal, I'm paraphrasing Prabhupada, right? Person like Shishupal never appreciated Krishna. So even though he got liberation, Sudarshan Chakra, that doesn't mean he goes to spiritual world. It's interesting. He said because when the subtle body dissolved, the soul still have to appreciate Krishna and develop desire. If you don't, you get out of Maya, but not inside. You are in a border. You know border? No man's land. You are not in the material world. You're not in the spiritual world either. Because in order to enter into Vaikuntha or Golok, you have to have a desire to serve the Lord. So, I hope, I don't know, Duryodhana, everybody develops some kind of affection or something to Krishna. Otherwise, they got liberation by Sudarshan Chakra, but what good is it? Arujya Krishna param patam patanti adha anadrita jusmat angraya. Because they did not adore, they will fall down again to this world. So we can get out of Maya, but that's first transformation. We discussed that one day. True transformation. First transformation is this. Second transformation is more important. And it's only the Hare Krishna people discuss the second transformation. First transformation, you will see many religious society focus also. Even Buddhism gives some idea. Even Mayavad. So many society, they talk about first transformation to get out of the material misery. But nobody talks after the getting out, what happened. That is the most important, because otherwise you'll come back. And Prabhupada gives the example that if I am diseased, to get out of the sickness is good, but to regain healthy body, it's also very important. Otherwise, you are prone to come back to the sickness. So like this. Sorry, it took long time. Gaur Pramanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Bancha Kalpataru Vishnu Kipa, Sindhu Bevacha, Patitanam Pava.